Hello everyone, welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Benedict and it's episode number 8. It's been a while, I'm a bit rusty. My last podcast was in May, so let's try to do that again. So I'm French, as you can hear. I live in the north of Paris with my husband and my two daughters. And here I talk about what I knit, what I would like to knit, and a little bit of crochet. So last time I talked here, I was planning my knitting for the holidays. So I'm back from the holidays, still a bit tan, and children are back to school and I'm back to work, and we are in September, and it's a bit difficult, but every year when I'm back from holiday I find it difficult. But anyway, so let's talk about what it's going to be difficult. What I'm wearing now. So this is my finished object. The patchwork cardigan from Lara Dalgard that I knitted in Knitting for Olive Merino with a strand of mohair from Drops Kid Silk. It was my first attempt at knitting in Intarsia. So I didn't find it difficult to knit in Intarsia, but why it took me so long to finish it was because I think I did twice the same. So you knit like the left part and the right part, and it's not easy when you have my disability, because I'm struggling with right and left, and I knitted twice the right side, and then I couldn't match anything, so I had to unravel, knit the left, attach all the different parts. Then I wasn't sure about the mix of colors, so I re-knitted twice or 3 times the sleeves. So it was a labor of love, but I really, really love it. I'm making a mental note for myself that I have to improve my knitting skill for the button band. And I think what I need to do is to learn to count properly, because I think it's too narrow. I mean, I think I didn't pick enough stitches, so the button band is a bit stretched. It's too small for the rest of the cardigan, but I don't really care. I'm going to stand up, but my chair is very old, so you're going to hear cracking noises. This is me standing up. It's very cozy, it's very warm, it's very soft. I wear it with a black trousers and a black shirt. It was my birthday present for myself, and I'm glad I'm wearing it for the. It took me time, like 1 year. It was my birthday 1 month ago, so here is my birthday for last birthday. I'm 1 year older, but anyway, very slow fashion here, very slow knitting here. Doesn't matter. So that's what I'm wearing. Patchwork cardigan. If I had to knit it again, I think I would knit it with less colors because um, 2 strands of yarn for each colors. So it's not a portable knit because you have 4 balls of yarn. Um, you always have 4 balls of yarn, except when you are knitting the sleeves. Except when you are knitting the sleeves one color, you have only 2 balls of yarn. But so it's a perfect knit for winter when you are in the sofa and you don't move. It's a very, very nice cardigan, and I really like it. What else can I say? Oh, I bought the button in the market because there are so many colors. I thought that the easiest way, the easiest thing to do was to choose buttons that were not colored, so it's like transparent buttons. Okay, what else? I'm sorry if I'm a bit rusty and it's slow, and my English is what it is. What I'm knitting now. So last time we talked about, I talked about it. It was only a plan, but it's nearly finished. It's been like a few months. So this is my. Oof, it's going to be a bit messy. This is my Cumulous blouse from Petite Knit. I don't know because the weather is changing and the light is changing, so I don't know if you. It's in Liss Pink from Midnight Soul Camarose, yes, and I'm holding 2 strands double. Yes. At first, I bought this yarn for my husband, for my husband's sweater, but the color, sometimes it's weird. You buy like 2 different colors and you like them both, they're beautiful, and you knit them together and it's not that beautiful. So at the end, I just bought more yarn in the same color and went for the pink, and I really love it. It was my first time doing an I-cord. I managed the I-cord. I didn't really manage the grafting of the I-cord at the end. It's a bit messy, but it will do. So I finished both sleeves. I finished the color. I did the I-cord in the color. I hope it's well. I'll wear it. I'll wear a dress below, so it doesn't matter if it's too deep. And now I'm knitting the body, and I got only those 2 balls left, and I'm not. I still have a few rows to go, so we'll see. I'll knit as far as I can go. I don't really know how much yarn I have to leave to do a night cord bind off for the bottom. So maybe maybe I will knit and undo and knit again. But this is me. I don't think there is one project that I can just do without re-knitting and re-knitting and re-knitting. But I'm still learning and I'm trying to do something that fits and something that I like. So I take my time and I already have a few sweaters and a few cardigans. This I will wear it when it will be finished and that's it. I'm taking things very slow. I'm trying not to get FOMO from all the beautiful pattern and beautiful project from other knitters on YouTube and just do my own things. And so far I'm okay. So last time I talked quite a lot. I think I didn't rewatch myself about what I would bring on holiday to go to Spain. I said that we were going to take the train, so I could bring my needles, but I wanted something small because I didn't want to carry too much bags. But you know what? At the end, I didn't need because it was so warm. I brought that, but I didn't need anything because it was too warm to knit. So I crocheting. It's my transition from my second work in progress. So this is the Pastèque. I don't think it's Pastèque tea. I think it's just Pastèque from this numero of pom-pom. I don't remember the name of the designer, so I'm just going to take a few seconds. Maddalena Bastaku. The pattern is in, I don't know how to show, I'm not supposed to do that, is in orange. What can I say? So here I am. So I'm crocheting, I think size 3 or 4, maybe 4, and this is the back. It's the first time I'm crocheting a garment, so you know, each time I try to learn something new and to challenge myself. Sometimes it's too much of a challenge, but you know. So I've done the back and it was easy. The repeat, it's not like I couldn't learn the whole 6 rows repeat, but once I started one row, I could do it without watching the pattern. I brought the magazine with me so that when it's torn, and I managed to crochet this during my trip. I didn't talk to you about the yarn. Okay, I'll talk to you about the yarn. I'm doing the front part and I stopped because that's where it's getting a bit complicated for me, for my knowledge of crochet. Um, so it's the third time or fourth time doing the front part, this part, um, because sometimes I need to do something and get it wrong a few times to learn how to do it. So I didn't understand how I was supposed to do the cleavage. No, this part. So I think that now I understand how I'm supposed to do it, but let me show you. I have a better picture. So I didn't really understand how to do this part. That's where I am now. But I think that now I know how I'm supposed to do, but I got it wrong because you're supposed to do like one side and then the other, and it was not in the middle, so that's why there is a stitch marker here. So remember that I'm supposed to stop to do this part, stop here, and then do this part, stop, and then get a symmetrical color. I think I'm going to manage to do it. I think I can. It's not about the stitches. It's my computer. It's getting warm and it's a bit noisy. I'm sorry. Um, the stitch pattern is not difficult. It's very easy. I think the most complicated part for a beginner or like a fake beginner like me, it's understanding the shaping. Um, Once you've done the two different parts, you are supposed to, I think I'm going to block it, and then assemble everything under the arm, and then crochet the arm, and crochet the small, the hem around the t-shirt, the top. Anyway, I'm always like, um, I'm never knitting or crocheting things for the right season, so this will be for next summer, and it's okay. Um, the yarn. It's Maruma yarn. It's cotton. Um, two seconds. I'm looking at my notes on the computer. Maruma and dyed yarn, cotton in green. Because I got it wrong, I've got this left, and I thought that maybe I would need more yarn, so I bought one more ball of yarn. Maybe I'll have too much after that, but it doesn't matter because I want to do this bag. So I guess it's Pastèque too, I think. So I think I'll need a bit of green to do all those. So I'll use it anyway. I love I love this one. There are like a lot of patterns that I want to make. I want to make this bag. I want to make this one. I At first I wanted to make this one, the one on the cover. That's what made me buy the book. But now I'm not sure. I love the idea. I love the result, but maybe it's not so easy to wear. It felt a bit like stiff. I don't know. It's called Limonata. It's beautiful, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'll make it at the end because I'm disabled and I'm working with walking sticks. Sometimes I have to think about if it will be practical for me. I need to wear things where I don't have to bother about if it's going to get in the way of my walking sticks. So I have to watch for the size of the sleeves. It has to be high or down, but not right in the middle because that's where my walking stick is standing. I fell like not a lot, but I felt quite enough to remember that I have to keep that in mind. So I recommend this book from Bonnet. I recommend the pattern, even though I'm struggling. I'm struggling because it's me. I'm always struggling. It has nothing to do with the pattern. I think that if you really like the pattern and you are confident in the way you are crocheting, you can just try. I think that crochet for that it's very forgiving because if it's wrong you can just unravel. It's very easy to unravel when you crochet and it's much easier than to unravel when you crochet than when you knit. So you can take crochet to other way to learn shaping and techniques because you can just unravel. It takes just a few minutes. Then you have to assume the frustration, but that's life. Okay, talking about frustration. Let's talk about socks. So this is my first pair of socks. I can't even remember when I started it, and I'm still knitting this sock. I really need to finish it. It's for my husband. He likes his socks very high on the calf. So you see, for this one, I really needed a very, very long calf. And I'm bored. But I'm nearly done. I think I've got 10 stripes left. So let's hope that next time this will be my finished object. I don't know if I'm going too fast. Okay, let's take a... Okay, now. Last winter, we went to Berlin in train with my husband and my daughters. It was quite an adventure. He had work and he had to go there for a week, and here we were on children children were on holidays. So we thought that we could go a bit before and visit, and then we would leave. I left earlier with my daughters, and he stayed to work. And we went to a yarn shop. We got lost in Berlin. We managed to go to a yarn shop. And my daughters, yes, both of them, but they chose a ball of yarn as a souvenir. My youngest is crocheting by herself alone a long chain. We'll see what she will do with that. My older daughter, she wants a slouchy hat. Before she cut all her hair, she had very curly and a lot of hair, so she needs a slouchy hat to put on her hair, a bit like me, but even more, I think. So she chose that beautiful yarn from Malabrigo Rios in the colorway Cameleon. So I've started to make a hat for her because it's been very warm, and then suddenly in 2 days it's been raining and it's colder now. So I think we are in autumn now. So I think I'm going to stop my Cumulous blouse because I've got sweater and I've got cardigan, and I'm not going to be cold if I do not finish my pink blouse. But my daughter, she really needs a hat because it's cold now, and she cut all her hair. I think she's going to be cold, and I'm slow knitter, so I think I need to prioritize this project. Plus, I've been knitting for me for a few months now, so I think it's their turn. So I'm going to finish my husband's socks. Now I'm saying it, I have to do it. I'm going to knit my daughter hat, and then I'll finish my blouse. So I didn't really know. I mean, I had a pattern in mind, a free pattern. I found a free pattern on Ravelry, but then I don't know. I had sometimes I think about knitting when I sleep and I wake up with an idea. So I don't know if you do that too. So I remembered that I had this book. Okay, I'm going to. It's a Japanese designer, so I'm going to say her name in English with a French accent, a Japanese name. Then I'll write it down in the comments. So it's Hikaru Noguchi, and I'm going to do that. Okay, this book is from, I think, 2008. It wasn't even, I bought it in franc. So it's, I mean, before I talk to you, I looked on the internet to see if I could find the book in English, because she's a Japanese designer, but she lives in London. I found her blog and I found this book. It's not this cover, it's another photo, but I think it's the same. I think that the design inside are the same. So in French, it's called Elle tricote, c'est grigris, but in English, it's made from France or something like that. I'm checking. Oh, do I have it? Made in France knitting. Made in France knitting. I found it in Abbey Books on the website for books in English for €4. But I mean, she's got beautiful, beautiful pattern. I don't think you really need to buy the book for a hat. I don't think I need really a pattern for, but you know, I'll show you. Sometimes too much camera. Sometimes I overthink. I overthink things. Doesn't make sense. So this is the idea of a slouchy hat. In French, it's called Bonnet d'automne. So it's a autumnal hat. Perfect. There are many other beautiful design for your house or for yourself or for your children if you have some, or friends' children. This one is a shawl. I like it too. Clothes for children. This, when I was young, in 2008, I thought, oh, maybe if I have a girl, I'll make that. And I had 2 girls and didn't make it. It was a bit overwhelmed. This is a beautiful cardigan too. What else? Bags in crochet. I think there is a help to make the flower too. I mean, everything is very. This is a very good idea to use bits and pieces from your stash. Okay, so I mean, I'm showing it again. I don't know if you will find this book or not. I like it. Help me. So basically now I'm doing a 1 by 1 ribbing, quite long, and then like bit long too for to give the slouchy effect, and that's it. So I have to talk about things that didn't work out. So in my last podcast, I talked about Sistere shawl from Kirstine Rovetta. I'm going to show it like that. Very. I'm going to frog it. I'm going to frog this shawl because it was supposed to be for my colleague, and it was her birthday last week, so she didn't get the shawl for her birthday. I tried. I think I indeed unraveled everything like more than 5 times. And when you unravel things that much for me, and I gave up. It was too much. So I managed to do the lace part, There are a few mistakes, but it's okay. I love the color and the yarn is okay. What I couldn't manage to understand was the mosaic part. So you see, I mean, this is wrong. This is not the way it's supposed to look like. So this pattern come from Pom Pom magazine. I can't remember the number, but I'll put it on the screen and put it on the comments. I talked about it earlier, but I put all the information anyway. I think that it's written for the mosaic part. It's written for people who already know how to make mosaic knitting, and I don't. I'm very, very beginner, and I thought that maybe I would manage because it's just a small portion of the shawl, and then it's lace and color work, and I think I can manage lace and color work, but I didn't manage the mosaic, so it wasn't a good idea to have so much new things to learn with a deadline for somebody else. So I'm going to frog it. I still have the pattern. I think I knit it someday. I think if I find a pattern at the point where I will learn how to do mosaic, maybe I will come back and knit the shawl because it's a beautiful shawl. Then for the yarn, because I've got a lot, but I love the color. I think the color combination, it's host. I'm going to look just a few seconds. Holst yarn super soft in saffron, almond, burnt orange, and black, something close to black. So the color choice, I love the color choice. I think I'm going to make a shawl with it anyway. Right now I'm thinking of the Vertices Unite from Stephen West because I saw the Casey from Young Folk Knit Podcast. She had a Vertices Unite shawl in those colors, and I think since I saw hers maybe a few years ago, possible last year, I think those colors got stuck in my head. When I saw the société, it's just mixed, and I thought, okay, but maybe if I just need to knit something simpler. That's it. I'm not there. I'm not ready for. I'll be one day, but not now. So I'm going to frog that, and it's okay. We have to accept that sometimes we want something, but hands are not and brain are not ready for it. Okay, so talking about that, I'm very good with my transition now because I think that what I'm going to knit next is a project I had in my library for years. I think I bought it when we were still in confinement during COVID. I started it and I stopped it because I didn't know how to knit. You see, I stopped this cardigan it's a cardigan because I felt that it was too hard for me. But now I think I'm able to knit it. So I have the yarn, I have the pattern. I think it's a beautiful autumnal cardigan. So that's it. Because I love this cardigan, but it's not an everyday cardigan type. It's very colorful, so I thought already back then that I needed something. Sorry, each time I talk, it's like maybe I may stress and swallow too much, too fast or not fast enough. Sorry about that. So this is the it's an Andrea Marie cardigan, Winter Beach. Winter Beach is it? Where is it? Winter Beach cardi from Andrea Mauri. This is the moment where I've got stuff everywhere and I can't find anything. Where is the yarn? Okay, it's far. I'm going to stand up and do a bit of noise. Sorry about that. Okay. So it's a French company called Vivre. I've got a basket of yarn because I was still new at knitting and I wasn't sure about how much yarn I was supposed to buy. So maybe I have way too much. I didn't know anything about yarn, about fibers, about anything. So that's what I have. It's a bit tweedy. It's called Randonnée. The colorway is Brume, so it's quite close to the color from the original cardigan. And see, I didn't know anything about yarn or about fiber because I just read the label where it's written, I'm laughing at myself, 40% wool and 10% alpaca. Yeah, but there are 50% missing. It's not written on the label. What are the other 50%? So that's now I know that you're supposed to read everything before you buy yarn. Because the other 50% are acrylic, 55%, and 5% viscose. But this is not written on the label. Anyway, it's okay. I'm going to have a nice cardigan anyway. It's lacy. It's a lacy cardigan. I think there is no button on the button band. Good, because I'm very bad at sewing them. I think my husband is. I had to ask him to do that. So this is my next plan. I have a lot of other plans. I mean, my Ravelry queue is huge. I've got yarn for the next 5 years. So I think that's everything that I'm going to talk about in this podcast today. I'm going to finish with something. I'm not sure it's a good idea because I'm just going to tell you what I'm reading now. Maybe it's going to be a bit frustrating because it's in French and I'm not sure that there is a translation. But maybe there are some French speaker or people who can read French and here listening to me. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this book because, okay, I'm going to start by showing you the book. So it's called De chair et de fer. So let's say of fer, it's okay. I'm going to think about a translation and put it in the screen. From Charlotte Puiseux. Charlotte Puiseux is disabled, like me. We don't have the same disability. She's an electric wheelchair. Her disability comes from a genetic disease. She's a bit younger than me, but still she talks about, because the title below is to live and fight in an able society. So this book talks to my soul because that's what I'm doing. I'm living and fighting in an able society. And even though she's maybe 10 years younger than me, I could relate a lot because she talks about the way she was raised by her parents, how she managed to go to school, how she managed to get a degree. I got a master's degree and I'm very proud of it. She got a PhD. She must be very proud of it too, because it's not easy to study in France when you are disabled. What I like about this book is the way that she uses her personal and intimate experience to make it something bigger, to make it something more universal, to help me to understand that all the obstacles that I had to overcome to become a 40-something mother of two, full-time job woman, those obstacles, I had to overcome them because society was not ready to make room for me. So I had to adapt and I had to struggle and I had to fight and I had to be angry and frustrated and I had to go through fear of a lot of things, of not being good enough and not being beautiful and not being clever enough and not being able. And so she made it something political. She used her personal experience to talk about philosophy. She had a PhD in philosophy. She talked about disability studies, never heard of that before. She talked about what it is to fight and how people who are not white either, who are not able, who are not heterosexual, who are not mainstream, have to fight to make room for them to exist and not to apologize. So it's I have to read it very slowly, because sometimes it brings me back memory for when I was younger and so why did I accept that? I had to fight. But sometimes you have to pick fight, and you can't fight all the time for everything. So I makes me think a lot about my life now and my choices or my lack of choices at the time. So maybe you won't find this book in English, and I'm very sorry. But if you look for her on Twitter, you'll find her. Last week, she is part of a group of activist women disabled, and last week they blocked the metro Invalide in Paris to try to make people realize that the underground, the bus, the train is not, there is no room for disabled people in the streets in Paris. And that's why maybe if you walk in Paris, you will think, oh, there is no disabled people, because you can't travel in underground if you have a wheelchair in Paris. So, and I thought, okay, so I have to say her name and show her book again, because I think she's doing a very good job at explaining what it is to be disabled without, um, without guilt and shame or, charity feeling. Something very moving, but not in a bad way. If it makes sense. Anyway, it's nearly 1 hour now, and I think it's a good time for a knitting podcast. I hope I'll talk to you very soon. It won't be like 3 or 4 months. I'm going to try to talk to you next month, and I see you soon. Bye.